Things germinate a lot slower at this time of year. Obviously it's quite a lot cooler, but they do get there eventually. That's some kale that we sowed. And it were a couple of weeks ago or more, so it's took quite a bit longer to germinate than it normally does. And we did put 2 or 3 seeds in each cell to try and guarantee us that we got around 6 plants. And so far there's only 1 cell out of all 6 that's not showing anything. So we've got 5 plants guaranteed. We just need to wait a little bit longer for those to get just that bit bigger. But about a week after that, we decided to sow some more cauliflower. And we've got 100% germination in that tree. And they're basically the same size as the kale, even though these were planted a week later. So some things do germinate quicker than others, but we're getting there. And we don't want loads and loads of plants because we're mainly doing things in greenhouses this year. So we just want a few of each thing that we sow. We multi-sown some basil as well. That, again, is being very slow. And these are brand new seeds, but we bought this year. We've got a little bit of germination going off just there. And that's multi-sown basil, so there's quite a few seeds in each cell. So far, not much in the way of progress, so we'll have to wait a little bit longer for those. Meanwhile, there's problems with this cabbage. It's gone from bad to worse. They're getting battered. Loads and loads of holes in these. So they're not doing very good at all. I think we might just have to take risk and put a few in ground. I hope that natural predators pick off whatever it is that's making all these holes in these cabbages and give them a chance to grow. Because since they've been in greenhouse, they've just got worse and worse. So I think these ones are going to have to be planted out and we'll just see what happens with them. And I've also noticed that the one that we put in that big container is now suffering the same. On the other hand, sometimes things grow that you never intended. Like that volunteer potato plant that we had outside. It just started growing in that compost bin. And it got to be a really good, healthy looking plant. But over the last couple of weeks, it's just died back to nothing. So we pulled that plant out. But we didn't dig down to see if that plant actually made any potatoes. So I think today would be a good time to just have a little dig round in that compost and see if there is anything. A couple of bonus potatoes would be great. But if we get nothing, we've lost nothing because we didn't actually plant that in the first place. Let's go and have a look. So that's that homemade compost bin that we did. Made it out of some old pallets. And that's where this potato plant were. And you can see now it's all died back. I'm just going to have a bit of a dig in there. And I think we just got lucky. Look at the size of that potato. That's amazing. There's a bit of scab on one side, not a problem. But that is one huge potato for free. So we best be careful with that fork and dig in again. I'm going to take some of this out. We can put it back in afterwards. We'll get rid of some of that off the top as well. Certainly wasn't expecting that. If we only got that one potato, I'd be happy because it were free. I'm going to take some of this out. This compost, this is all breaking down really nicely. It's going to make us some really good compost for next year. That's been in there about 6 months. A mixture of green waste and paper. You can see what we're getting, really good quality stuff that. Well, I've not seen any more potatoes. Oh, actually, there's one there. So that's good. I've got another one. We need to be turning this compost anyway, every now and again, so it all breaks down quick. Right at the very bottom. That's good quality stuff. I can't see any more potatoes now, but I think we've done well. So I'm just turning all this compost. Just found another little potato. And that's all we've got. But we've got some. Well, just when you think you've took the last of your potatoes from garden, we get those. A volunteer potato plant that we just left alone. And it was quite happily growing in that compost bin. So it's had no feed, although in a compost bin there should be lots of nutrients anyway. And we came out with a potato like that. That is chips, if I ever saw it. What a brilliant sized potato for nothing. And then we got a couple of smaller ones as well. Brilliant. As I said, there's a bit of scab on this potato, but there was a bit of scab on most of them that we took out of other containers, so that's not a problem. We just give them a clean, peel them, and they're good to go. Every now and again, it's really nice to get something for free. And you've seen that compost is coming along quite nicely, and we made 2 bins out of some old pallets that we got hold of, and we just keep chucking in grass cuttings, leaves from cabbages and things like that. Basic general garden waste. Trying to avoid really thick stalked things like the stems of cabbages. They take too long to break down. And we're also chucking in paper, bits of cardboard, and it all breaks down naturally and makes some really good quality compost. And as you saw, when we dug down to the bottom, you could see we've got some really good quality stuff already. So getting that black gold, as they call it, just for the sake of putting all your old waste into homemade bins, is definitely worth doing. And that potato proves it. If you do make a compost bin, or something similar to the structure we've made, don't put kitchen waste in it, leftover food, because if you do, you're going to attract a lot of rats, and they will get in that compost and they'll nest in there over winter. Something you definitely don't want. While we're on a note, I also saw that courgette the other day in raised beds, and it's a really good size now, and it's a good size to harvest. So I think I'm going to get that, and that's a couple of extra things today that we didn't expect, because we just threw that courgette plant into that raised bed. We've given it no care or attention whatsoever because they were just spare plants. And once again, we've been rewarded with probably the biggest round courgette that we've had this year from a plant that we've basically just left alone. It's just down here. I've actually noticed there's a couple more trying to grow. I'm not sure if they're going to come to anything, but it's that one that we came for. That's a really good sized courgette. It's not feeling soft at the moment. I think it's ripe. Either way, I'm going to take it. before something else starts chewing at it. We'll just leave some of that stem on, so it's like that. So there we go, a really nice round courgette. We had a courgette plant in a container and we kept it in greenhouse, babied it if you like, and we got one courgette from that plant all year. Even though we constantly maintained it, we kept giving it feed, but it just didn't do much of anything. This one, however, was one of those spare plants, as I call them, and we just dumped that into that raised bed, and it's given us back a courgette bigger than the one that we gave all that attention to. And I think for today, that'll do it. A massive potato, as biggest courgette at year, plus a few extra potatoes on top. It just goes to show that sometimes, when it comes to gardening, growing your own vegetables, you can try too hard. Because some plants you underwater, some plants you overwater, some plants you don't feed enough, and some plants you overfeed. Whereas these ones have just been left to their own devices and not only given us a result, but that is the biggest potato that we've had this year out of 15 containers, and that basically grew in a dump. Once again, thank you so much for being part of the channel. I really do appreciate it, and it's brilliant to see that people are now setting up containers ready for autumn and winter, even though it's been such an horrible year, and even though it's the very first year trying and they may not have had brilliant results. People are digging their heels in and they're determined to make it work. And between us, as a community of gardeners, I know we'll get there. And in 2024, when we start that new season, we're all going to have that little bit more knowledge and experience, and hopefully better weather. So whatever you're accomplished this year, whether it be a little bit or a lot, you know that next year you're going to do even better. If you want to see what else we're doing over the next few weeks, please hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care.